Welcome to F101, Foundations of Change for Academic Year 25. The M10 Booker, equipped with a 105mm cannon, provides crucial firepower for light infantry units operating in complex terrains. We might highlight its significance to airborne and light forces by noting the soldiers from the 82nd Airborne Division pictured with the vehicle. The M10 Booker fills a critical capability gap within our current force structure, addressing essential questions such as its financing, the necessity for our allies and partners, and the personnel required for its operation and maintenance. Students should consider the implications of the new vehicle on training, particularly for light and airborne units, and its integration into combat training centers. The class may discuss the impact on military doctrine, the priority within the Army's overall strategy, and the initial units designated to receive this capability. General Mark Milley argued that we are currently experiencing a fundamental shift in the character of war. While the nature of war remains constant, rooted in human emotions, fears, friction, and chance, the way it is conducted is evolving. War continues to impose political will through violence, but the methods and strategies are changing. The discussion may focus on specific changes we are witnessing in the conduct of war. Students may be encouraged to think critically about how technological advancements, strategic approaches, and the global political landscape influence these changes. This quotation may serve as a starting point to explore how the immutable nature of war contrasts with the dynamic character of its execution. Or more simply, I prefer the line from the Fallout video game series, War never changes. The evolving operational environment and character of war present new challenges driven by both political and technological factors. Key political drivers include the resurgence of pure powers, persistent violent sub-state instability, and the actions of revisionist actors challenging the international order. Allies and partners remain crucial, yet their capabilities are declining. On the technological front, advances in autonomy and robotics, as well as the increasingly violent and fast-paced nature of warfare across all domains, must be considered. Our competitors are advancing rapidly, threatening to surpass us if we do not adapt swiftly. To address these changes, the Army must build capabilities to deter and defeat military peers, project power, and operate effectively in sophisticated and dense urban environments. Protecting critical infrastructure and retaining competencies in counterterrorism and COIN are essential. Integration with allies and partners and ongoing personnel assessment and development will be crucial for future success. Instructors may emphasize here that relying solely on the experiences of the past 25 years is insufficient for anticipating the next 25 to 35 years. Preparing for the future requires a proactive and forward-thinking approach. In 1973, the American operating environment was marked by significant public distrust of the government, largely due to events like the Watergate scandal, leading to Nixon's resignation, and the impact of the Vietnam War, which resulted in over 58,000 American deaths. This period also saw a strong anti-military sentiment, with the public shocked by the televised brutality of war and a Harris poll indicating low respect for the military. The all-volunteer Army faced challenges, with 40% of recruits lacking high school diplomas and a similar percentage categorized as Cat 4. The Army was 20,000 soldiers short of its authorized strength and missed reinstatement targets by 11%. Additionally, public and congressional support for military funding was minimal, resulting in severe cuts to maintenance and training, impacting readiness. By 1979, many divisions were not combat ready, and numerous equipment programs were canceled. These factors created a challenging environment for military operations and necessitated significant changes and adaptations within the Army. In 1973, technological advancements significantly altered the operating environment. Precision increased notably, as seen with the Navy's A-7's circular error of probability decreasing from 300 meters to 30 meters, and the development of reflected laser energy fire-and-forget weapons. Lethality also rose. During the 73 war, it only took 2 tank rounds to destroy a tank, compared to 17 in World War II. The TOW missile achieved a 90% kill rate at ranges up to 3,000 meters, emphasizing the principle that what can be seen can be hit, and what can be hit can be killed. Moreover, the era saw the introduction of revolutionary technologies. The personal computer emerged with the Altair 8800 in 1974, practical lasers and LEDs were developed, and significant advancements were made in computer memory and operating systems. Additionally, DARPA's work laid the groundwork for the Internet, highlighting a period of profound technological transformation that continues to influence military capabilities and strategies. This practical exercise requires students to analyze how the post-Vietnam Army evolved from a counterinsurgency-focused force to one capable of deterring and defeating a near-peer adversary. The class will be divided into 4 groups, each assigned a strategic problem statement and a specific set of Army capabilities to analyze. Using information from their readings, the task is to develop and prepare a 5-minute briefing that presents the results of the analysis. So the analysis must address 5 key questions that will be provided, forming the core of each group's presentation. Students should be ready to discuss these findings comprehensively within the briefing. As students conduct the practical exercise, they will consider how the Army can overcome the strategic challenge of defeating a numerically superior, strategically distant enemy with comparable technology in major combat operations, especially within a resource-constrained environment. Students should reflect on how their group's proposed changes address this critical problem, integrating lessons from historical and contemporary contexts to formulate effective solutions. Analysis will be divided among 4 groups, each focusing on a specific aspect of how the Army transformed to counter the Soviet Union. Each group will provide a comprehensive analysis based on these focus areas to understand the Army's strategic adjustments during this pivotal period. Each group must address the following 5 questions. These questions will guide the analysis and ensure a comprehensive understanding of how the Army addressed its post-Vietnam challenges. Resources are always limited, necessitating tough decisions. Based on the briefings, if you could only allocate resources to one of the 4 groups, which should the class support? Groups must explain their reasoning. This exercise will help students prioritize critical changes that had the most significant impact on the Army's transition and effectiveness. Each student group must consider the following questions to understand the implications for today's Army. Number 1, importance of change post-Vietnam. Why was it crucial for the Army to change after Vietnam? Number 2, operational environment comparison. Comparing the post-Vietnam operational environment to that of 2030 to 2050, why is it necessary for the Army to continue evolving? Is change a constant necessity? Multifunctional changes. Why was it important for the Army to implement changes across multiple functions? Number 4, personal perspective. If you were an officer during the post-Vietnam era, which change would you not have supported and why? Number 5, future challenges. Will the challenges we face in 2030 be addressed through evolutionary or revolutionary changes? Reflecting on these questions to help students draw parallels between past and present challenges and the continuous need for adaptation in the Army. So here are the key takeaways for F101. Force management. This is the Army's process for managing change, balancing current needs with future requirements to provide capabilities for combatant commanders. FM integration. Force management integration, business processes like JCIDS, that's the requirements and solutions development piece, DAS, or the Defense Acquisition Systems Materiel Development and Acquisition System, and PPBE, which is focused on the prioritization and resourcing of requirements to manage change effectively. Title 10 responsibilities. Title 10 outlines the Department of the Army's congressionally mandated responsibilities for developing and supporting capabilities for sustained land operations. Execution of Title 10. The Department of the Army executes its Title 10 mission through Headquarters DA, Army Commands or ACOMs, Army Service Component Commands ASCCs, Direct Reporting Units, DRUs, and Field Operating Offices, FOAs. Administrative Control, ADCON. ADCON is used to exercise Title 10 responsibilities. Note that ADCON is not a command and control or C2 relationship, and a unit can have separate operational and ADCON chains, usually exercised through the ASCC in theaters. The Army Strategic Planning System. The ASPS integrates, prioritizes, and directs the execution of the Department of the Army's Title 10 responsibilities based on national strategies and combatant commander-specific requirements. These elements are crucial for understanding how the Army manages change and fulfills its strategic responsibilities.